Hey there, listeners. This is Justin with a quick note before today's episode. Spotify recently allowed users to start leaving reviews for podcasts, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider listening to the show on Spotify, leaving us a positive review. I don't even think you have to write anything in. You just give a star rating, and that's it. But if you're willing to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks, and enjoy today's show. Hey there, listeners. This is Justin Asiri from Beyond the Uniform. Normally on the show, I interview military veterans about their career path, who they are, what they did, how they got there, and advice for how to do the same. I'm trying a new format on Thursdays that I'm just going to call a mindset series. Where it's coming from is two things. First of all, especially as an entrepreneur, but I believe this in life in general, I'm really aware right now of how our mindset affects everything. There's a great quote that I have. I've heard that business is 90% psychology, 10% skills. I'm not trying to undervalue skills. Of course, that's what we cover in almost every single one of the 416 preceding episodes. But I also want to really give more space to our mindset because it affects everything. How we show up in our job, how we show up in our job search, how we show up in our relationships and our family, everything. And second of all, I just want to be explicit that these things that I'm bringing to you on Thursdays, they are things that I am working on as well. I am not an expert, but I love that saying that if you want to learn something, you need to teach it. So I do not want to portray this as something that I have mastered. It is just whatever I'm sharing with you is something I am proactively working on myself. I know the importance of it, and I want to share that with you on my own journey. So with that, this is episode number 417, Mindset, all about gratitude. So the one thing I want you to know is that in my experience, and I think you'll find this is true, I found that it's very difficult to hold two different emotions simultaneously. For instance, it's very hard to experience happiness or to experience fear and anger while also feeling gratitude and love. It's extremely important to feel annoyance and frustration and overwhelm when feeling gratitude and love. And one of the things that I love about gratitude is that it really crowds out a lot of the negative emotions that I want less of in my life. And namely for me, that's fear, anger, comparison, judgment, things that knock me off my swim lane. It removes a lot of the energy I have to create something new, generally just puts me in a state where I don't feel like doing things and don't feel like achieving all the things that I really want to achieve in my life. And so I want to just start with some basics that you may have heard on the show before, but a entry point here that you can do anytime is a gratitude journal. And whether you do it in the morning or at night or both, writing down 10 things or 5 things that you're grateful from that day. And one way that you can hold this with a little bit more accountability is if you have a friend, you want to pitch this to them. I had a gratitude buddy for over a year and a half, 18 months, every single day. My buddy Dal and I would text each other with things that we were grateful for. And when he texted me, it was just great to see the things he was grateful for. When I texted him, I imagine the same. It held us accountable, and it fostered this nature of gratitude, this muscle that we were building together. So I want to share with you, beyond that, 3, I'll just call them pro tips that I'm working on. The first one is get granular. I want to be a gratitude machine. I want to be a reactive, monster that just spits out gratitude. And one way to do that, in my opinion, is to get really specific. And so rather than saying like, hey, I feel grateful, for my son Bodhi, it might be saying like, man, I'm so grateful that this morning he woke up giggling and playing games and he loves being around me and he fills me up with so much joy. I really believe it helps me, gives me more toehold on this to get very, very specific about what I'm grateful for in that moment. And taking it one step further, it has a much bigger impact on me rather than just saying it or writing it down. I really want to feel in my body, feel on an emotional level that gratitude. So as I said that, really feeling his laughter, hearing it in my ears, feeling what it's like to see him squirming around and just giggly and excited to get started on the day, getting that in your body and not just in your head. So that's the first pro tip, get granular. The second pro tip is something that I've heard called radical gratitude. And this to me is where the rubber hits the road. I think it's great basics to start with a gratitude journal. That's a great practice to find these golden moments in our lives, in our day that we really are grateful for. What gets a cut deeper and really starts to make a transition in me is when I can express gratitude for the things that aren't necessarily quote unquote good. So a friend of mine, their bike was stolen, and his reaction was, "Oh, I'm so grateful that I've never been so desperate for money that I had to steal something. I'm so grateful that I have the financial means that I can just go out and buy a new bike. It's not the end of the world." What I really like about this radical gratitude is it changes our perspective. Some of the things that just get me down and kick me off my game, get me in a funk, keep me from being productive, it allows us to shift our perspective pretty quickly and realize that there's something else there. My son has been getting up in the middle of the night, and it sucks. Anyone who has kids and has to get up frequently and gets their sleep disrupted, it really sucks, and it's easy for me to slip into a position of feeling like a victim. And instead, I'm trying as much as possible to shift that perspective. Like, man, I'm so grateful I get extra time to just hold him. I'm so grateful I get these extra interactions. I know he's not going to be this age forever, and I'm grateful just to have a few extra moments with him. So something that I probably would view as a negative, really trying to find the silver lining. And again, just like a muscle, training myself to focus on the positive that's always in a situation, whatever it might be. And then the third pro tip is, I'll call it anticipatory gratitude, or gratitude for the things that you desire. So right now I'm trying to hire someone locally here in Denver. And I just say to myself sometimes when I'm driving around or I'm walking around, like, oh, I'm so grateful that I found exactly the right person to hire. They've made my life so much easier and freed me up to do the things that I love and that I'm good at. Or, if I'm really wanting whatever it might be, for those of you transitioning out of the military, maybe you're nervous about that first job, getting really specific with this anticipatory gratitude. And again, trying to feel it in your body as you say it. I'm so grateful that I found just the right job that I was looking for. It's in the location that I love. It's with people that I admire and respect. And I'm so grateful for their mentorship and their support. I'm grateful to be doing a skill that I really want to hone in on. I'm grateful to have an opportunity to make the world a better place. Even in naming this anticipatory gratitude, you start to get really specific about what you're wanting. And this is a new one for me, but I love it. I love thinking of the things that I want most in my life and expressing gratitude, presupposing that they've already happened. It just gets me in a state where I feel like taking over the world. Those are my quick thoughts on gratitude. I would love to hear from you if you have other thoughts about gratitude, or even better yet, if you take this on for the next week, I would love to hear your experience. And I would encourage you, I heard someone once say that, never leave the site of a decision without, taking action. And so if this is appealing to you, this mindset of gratitude, make a commitment right now for the next week. It might be texting someone every single day with things you're grateful for. It might be saying, no matter what, before I go to bed, I'm going to write down 5 things I'm grateful for. Just make that commitment right now, just for a week. Try it on. Shoot me an email at justin@beyondtheuniform.org. Let me know how it goes. Thanks. I'll see you on Monday with our normal episode format of an interview with a military veteran about their civilian career. Take care.